Welcome to another episode of Great Health, Abundant Happiness, and Outrageous Love. Mwah. What did you want to talk about tonight, my love?
Well, I want to talk about outrageous love. So, the big question is for those of you who have not found it, who keep having relationships that keep ending in pretty much the same manner, I would say that your picker is off. You are picking the wrong people. And very often we pick the wrong person for a number of reasons, but very often it's because we are not ready. So, for example, when you and I first met the very first time, we didn't see each other or didn't even know each other again until we met up 3 years later. And, we were both in other relationships that obviously isn't the person that we ended up with. And nothing against either of those people, both great people. If you're out there, we think you're amazing and appreciate the relationships that we had because it brought us to where we are. But at that time, our picker for the right person was not in place. It had not been fully formulated.
Are you saying it was because of timing?
It can be because of timing. Now, other people who are ready pick the wrong people for a variety of other reasons. Perhaps something that happened when you were growing up. If you were, maybe you had an absentee father, and you keep picking these people that don't give you enough time and attention. It's really strange why you would pick somebody that's not giving you the attention, the very attention that you need and deserve. But that happens. There are a lot of different situations and instances that kind of make the person that we pick or the people that we pick, and if you've had multiple relationships, off. And I really believe that we all know when we've chosen to be with somebody that we know is not the right person. We make compromises. I've got another friend who always wants to save somebody. So every person that he picks, it's somebody that has major issues, and he just wants to save her. And it's a wonderful quality in him, but you cannot save someone. They have to be ready to be in a relationship too. There's so many different scenarios, and what I would really love is to have you comment down below if your picker is off and you keep picking the wrong people. Comment down below, what kind of person you keep, choosing to be with, and we can shed our light on it, as best we can. But also, I think when you really get down to it and think about it, if you really spend the time to think about it, you'll figure out the answer yourself, right?
Yeah.
But I think sharing it is so important because it allows other people to see that they're doing the same thing. And, this is all part of the process of getting to the right person. But sometimes we keep doing it over and over again, so much so that we miss the right person.
Well, let me ask you this. So, a lot of times when Karen and I do these videos, we don't know what each other is going to talk about. Sometimes we just hit the record button.
Right.
That's what we're doing. So,
Right.
I'm listening to you. So, if I'm out there in YouTube land,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, yeah, my picker's off. How do I change that? So, I'm just listening. The advice I would give to someone asking that question, I want to get your take on it, is you need to first get yourself in order. And if you're living your best life and you're a light giver, as I like to call it, you attract the right people, because the whole world is like a mirror. So if I'm out really enjoying life and I'm just experiencing every bit of life to the fullest, if it's it's skiing here on the mountain, you're having a great time, it's getting out there and just with a smile on your face and interacting with people, you're with very positive, a light giver. Those are the type of people that come into your life. You don't really have to go pick them. I would say you kind of attract them. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that is a very great and very valid point. Within that, I think that there are plenty of light givers that just happen to, be in the company of people that are attracted to them because they are light givers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that because somebody is a light giver and is in a really good place, sometimes people don't understand that they deserve love. Sometimes they've not had, um, that in their upbringing.
I guess as I'm
Right?
listening to you, they're still picking. So,
Right.
if you're that light giver, you attract all moths to the light, so to speak. So
I
you
love
still
that analogy.
you are still are picking one of them to
Mm-hmm.
spend your time with.
Right.
And I think I was looking at something earlier around just cutting some people loose that are not the right fit. So you do what you can, be empathetic and help people, but you really do have to find someone that you resonate with.
Absolutely. And you know what? This also extends to friendships.
Yes.
So
Friendships, I would even say like business partners,
business,
clients. If you're selling to people,
right?
we've said that a lot with our businesses today. We don't really want to do business with people who we don't want to be around. I mean, that's just the
Right.
way it is. When you can get to that level, it's not about just collecting the cash on whatever transaction you've got going on out there for services or products that you sell or whatever it is. You go to a place where you actually are picking your clients and the people you want to do business with, because
Right.
you spend a lot of time hanging out with those people.
Absolutely. And what happens sometimes is if you do take on a client that you already know that that you shouldn't, it's almost like Murphy's Law. The next day, the phone rings, and the client that you really would love to work with calls, but you can't take on that client because you've now invested in someone else. It's the same thing with relationships. Although, if you're in a relationship, you might actually miss that perfect person because you've focused your attention, elsewhere. And it's just really important to be true and fair to yourself and to choose people that choose you too.
Mm-hmm.
And that the relationship isn't one-sided where you're either doing everything or you're the one who's giving up more all the time. I mean, relationships are 150 on both sides of the fence, and it's really important for everyone to understand that they deserve to be with somebody who is going to also shine back to them. And very often, people, and it becomes a pattern too. It's really a fascinating, phenomenon that people get into these patterns. And I write about this in the book. Sometimes I think people get into the pattern of picking the wrong person so that they can say, oh, my relationships always end and this one is going to also. It's almost like this self-fulfilling prophecy and a comfort zone at the same time. It's bizarre, but
Well, it is that comfort zone I talked about a couple nights ago. It's like the thermostat on the wall. You set your thermostat at 75, that's all you're going to get, 75 degrees. So if you find something that's 85 degrees, doesn't fit, you drop back down. Or if something's below, you work it back up. And I love the analogies because whatever that is, income, it's a relationship, it's a type of person. But you set your own thermostat. I mean, most people don't really want to admit that their thermostat is set at X. So I guess to your point, talking about relationships, if they keep hooking up with a certain type of person, that they don't think is right for them, but yet they keep doing it time and time again. They don't want to admit it, but I mean that's really who they're seeking and attracting, and you know, continuing to connect up with, right?
Right. Exactly. And a couple of things, everyone knows this. You're not going to change somebody. So if you're in a relationship and there are a slew of things that, morally conflict with your morals, that is not likely to change. So you better enjoy those qualities about that person, um, instead of think, well, I love all of these things, but not these things. It's a package deal.
Right.
And, a lot of people also think that once they get married or, whatever, that they'll be able to change the other person. Believe me, that does not happen.
Right.
Ever. It doesn't happen. We can change and grow, but if these are moral conflicts, and that's really important when you choose somebody, is to choose someone on the same moral page as you. I think in the same values. And you don't have to have all of the same interests. That's an area where you can become interested in each other's interests. Some people do and some don't. That's not as mission critical, although it is really great when you have similar interests.
Well, you have to have some commonalities.
Absolutely.
I've always thought that it was interesting when people say opposites attract. I don't know if that's true or not, but at the end of the day, it's not doesn't make for a healthy, ongoing relationship if you're complete opposites. Because I think, to have a strong relationship, you need to spend serious amounts of time together.
Right.
Right. So if you're both interested in different things, one takes this person right, the other person left. You don't have the ability to spend that quality time together because you're on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Right. I think what people are referencing when they're saying opposites attract, because I do think there are a lot of couples that are opposite in a lot of different ways. Maybe one's shy and one's outgoing, so they really complement each other. But I think when you're talking about interests, again, you don't have to have all of the same interests,
Right.
but if you don't have any of the same interests, then where is your commonality?
Right.
Even if all of your morals and values line up, if you don't have any of the same interests, unless you're both excited about, if one is a skier and the other one's not, but they're excited about learning to ski, and one's a tennis player and they're excited about that, or history or art, whatever it is, wine, whiskey, I don't know, then it opposites can work there. But I think what people, when they say opposites attract, they're talking more about personality traits.
Well, I was giving this
like
advice.
Type A personality,
Yeah.
and not.
I was giving this advice to someone that was telling me that they weren't getting along with their significant other. This is a guy. He said, "Hey, I like the window open. She likes it shut. I like the music loud. She likes it softer. And I said, that's interesting because like Karen and I, we like different things, but what happens is you end up starting to blend things together. I mean, you really like 70s music, and I like the 80s music, for instance. And now, half the time I can't say.
I love the 80s music.
Oh, I know you do, yeah. But the thing is, I listen to a lot more 70s music now because of you.
Because now you love the 70s also.
Yeah, but I mean, so I did it because, that's what you wanted to listen to. I mean, you also have to make changes. You can't be so rigid to say, hey, I do everything this way. You either do it my way or out.
Right.
I mean,
And let's not mix up changing a person with making changes.
Right. So I'm not changing you. But what happens is, though, too, I think two people that spend a lot of time together, they start to become more like each other.
Yes.
I mean, we've had people, crazy enough, I mean, I don't think we look the same, but people have asked us if we're brother and sister.
I wish I
mean,
was as beautiful as you.
Oh, you're so...
You're just
yeah, right.
beautiful.
But anyway, so at the end of the day, it's funny because I think what happens is you make the same expressions, or whatever it is.
Right, you do.
You
do.
you
After
tell
all these years,
you tell
you
the same
start,
jokes, you use the same analogies, you say a lot of the same things. So
Right.
if people see that, in
Right.
just the way you hold yourself, your posture, maybe the way you dress and what you do. I think it's the blending of those two personalities that come together a bit. So
Right.
you're not changing another person, but you're probably becoming more like that person, like
Yes.
birds of a feather flock together, to use
Yes.
the old analogy, right?
But a person's heart and soul and their moral compass is what it is, and that's not
Yes,
anything
right.
you're going to change.
No.
And if you that's just really, really important to know. And tomorrow I want to talk about finding the perfect person for you. And yes, there is a perfect person for everyone. That doesn't mean the person is perfect, because it's really important to know that there is no such thing as perfection. But there is a perfect person for everyone that they can spend their entire life with and be extremely happy. And there are some steps that we're going to talk about tomorrow that you can put into place to guide you to that, so that you stop picking the wrong person. And it is a process, and it doesn't have to happen tomorrow. So, very often we'll meet up with some people and talk about what we're doing. They're like, well, when am I going to meet my Mr. Right? Or when am I going to meet the right girl? There is no time frame on this. You'll meet them when you're ready. But if that is at the top of your list, maybe you want to start a family, and depending on your age, whatever. Tomorrow we're going to talk about some steps that will get you closer to that goal. So
Can't wait.
In the meantime, please comment below if you keep picking the wrong person, why you think you're doing that, or what kind of person you keep picking, and maybe we can all chime in on it. And it'll just be kind of fun and interesting, because I know I've spoken to so many people that say that over and over again, that I just keep picking the wrong person. So, wishing you great health, abundant happiness, and outrageous love.
Good night, guys. And go ahead and subscribe. Click wherever it is and subscribe, and give us a thumbs up if you like this. And we're going to continue to put this message out. We're trying to get out a video a day around great health, abundant happiness, and outrageous love. See you tomorrow.